Hi everyone, it's Margaret here with 60 and Me. Well, as you know, for the last couple of weeks, I've had plenty of time to think and relax and reflect. And I want to share with you today my thoughts about how we can do a life review to help us, empower ourselves for the future. And I think that there's a lot of value in taking some time, not, dwelling on it, over dwelling on it, because the past is, it's gone and there's so many things that in some ways we want to forget or we want to put aside or just tuck those away, and that's totally okay. We can't keep bringing up past traumas and hoping for a different result. But I'm talking about just looking really open-heartedly at your life and asking some questions. And I've got some questions I want to share with you today, and I think that the logical way for me, and maybe for you too, is to go through it year by year, sort of from a child through to where you are today. And I'll share with you some of my stories along the way, because I think we all have stories, right? So I've got my cup of tea. It's just English breakfast today, and I'm going to, sort of share with you some things that I think might be valuable for you. So, childhood, early memories, like what shaped yourself in that world? What is there one moment that stands out for you in your childhood? Now, I guess what made you feel safe? What made you feel appreciated, or the opposite? What qualities did you learn in your childhood that you've brought into your adulthood? It's a really cool way of looking back. Now, I have very, very few memories of my childhood. My 3-4 year, I'm hardly any. I do know my mom told me that I was on the bed with her mom, my grandmother, when she died. And that's always been in my mind as something that I almost positively had some reaction to when I was 4 years old. But that's a memory from my childhood that is, I don't remember it myself, but my mom tells me that that was how it all played out. So that's the first thing. And the second thing I remember about my childhood was that traveling from it was from England. I'm trying to think where we were. England to Canada when I was 8 years old. And I think that did two things. One is it started my comfort level with moving. We moved a lot in my life. And also just the adventure, being on a ship, traveling, going places. It was just like from there to there, Tilbury to, I think, Montreal. But it was just that first taste of travel freedom. Then adolescence. I do adolescence. Now, this is where you kind of grow into going to school, of course, and getting teachers and people like that may have influenced you. But in your adolescence, what experience did you have that stayed with you, that really shaped you? Was there a teacher or a friend or parent or family member who provided you with guidance through your teen years, adolescent and teen years? What support did you get? Where did you go for support when you were younger, when you were a teenager? That was for me. I mean, we moved a lot. In that age between 8 and 15, we just moved a lot. So my teenage years were all about, moving, establishing connections, making new friends. And it was difficult, but it did two things. One is it made me totally unafraid to meet people. I can go into any strange situation. I went to the L'Oreal meeting last night. There's a beauty conference, and I just went up to everybody and chatted. I've got no hesitation. So that's one good thing that happened. And then the other thing I guess I learned is that friendship is fragile. And I didn't have any friends really when I was a teenager, except for Mary. Mary, if you're watching this video, Mary, well, I won't say your last name because you don't need to, but Mary and I were really good friends when I was, I think, about 15. And we lost each other and then re-met using Facebook about 10 years ago, Mary. It was a while, but we are now connected. She's also here on the Facebook group. So I love you, Mary, if you're watching. So what were those issues in your adolescence and teenage years? Did you face any challenges? Anything that you overcame when you were a teenager? I mean, I guess at that point you've got emerging hobbies and things that you're loving to do. Did you enjoy certain crafts or certain activities? Any passions that really started to take shape in your teenage years? Let's see, for me, passions, travel, of course. I mean, I couldn't get away from it because we moved so much. And I always found it interesting. I mean, I never remember there being, there was a trauma about moving because my parents were separating and they weren't happy together. But there was no sadness. It gave me tools for my life. which is what I guess I'm saying. How about you? Your sort of teenage years. Then you've got this kind of young adulthood, which is like that kind of 18 to 20, that kind of, 25, 30, where you're just meeting people in a way that, more different, in a different way. You're looking for a partner, perhaps. You're looking for love. So thinking about career choices in school, relationships that you made in your young adulthood up to, say, 20, 25, 30. What kind of people shaped your views of the world? Where did you work those first 3 jobs? Where did you fall in love? What was your first kiss? All those kind of memories. And by the way, I'm hoping that as I ask these questions, you're jotting them down. Now, I will actually maybe put this whole script I'm writing, reading from, because I had just one thing after the other to remind myself. Maybe I'll put it in the description box, so then you can go over these questions. But if you could look back, is there anything that you would have done differently in your young adulthood? Anything that you would have done differently, or anything that you did that really set you off on a path for the rest of your life? Something that was so influential, a decision that you made. It could be where you went to work. It could be the person you married. It could be or really had a relationship with, something like that. Then I think through that period of growth and just having fun and living life and just hopefully doing things that were experimental and enjoyable, you get to the midlife. Get to the 40s, 45, 50, where it's almost a time of self-discovery. It's a time where maybe your children are leaving home. You've got this kind of a marriage that's either strong or not so strong. I divorced, let's see, I can't remember exactly the year now, but it's 20 years ago for sure. What am I now? Yeah, it must have been 25 years. But they went on to do all kinds of things that they wanted to do, and that was how it had to be. But I was sad for a long time. And so my midlife was really filled with a mixture, because we built a house. We had some really wonderful family experiences. We traveled a lot. I can really look to my legacy there and just, and say thank you to so many different people who were part of that time of my life. Very, very big, important time. It was work. I worked at Microsoft. I had a very wonderful job. I had lots of support, lots of people that were really, really good friends. I still have them here. And it was really a developmental time. So much to be thankful for. I could just go on and on about that time, because it shaped me. And I think it was where I made the most impact in terms of my talents, my skills, my creative abilities. I did some great things at Microsoft during the Windows 95 launch. Sounds like 20 years ago. But yes, that was when there was opportunity. It was amazing. And my son worked at Microsoft. My husband worked at Microsoft. So for many years, we were super visible. We were super busy. And I had learned lots of creative tricks and tips, and got my confidence really talking and presenting. I did a video series for one of our executives, and that was the launch really in my mind of I can do this. So 50s, in my 50s, your 50s. Yeah, where were you then? What were you looking at? New dreams, new opportunities? What came to you during that period? And how did you adapt to that reinvention dream? Well, for me, it was simple. I just decided to leave Microsoft when I was 62. And I moved to the UK. I moved back to the UK, and that was a big transition time for me, my 50s and 60s, early 60s. There were lots of really meaningful friendships. What were your friendships in that time? Had it changed? Had it kind of mutated because you were now maybe retiring, or you weren't working in the same way as you had before? What were those friends that contributed to sort of who you are today? I think that's a really powerful period in your life, that 50s and 60s. But the 60s and beyond, here we are. 60 and me started when I was 64, how old was it? 64. And it grew very, very fast. It became a website and a blog and a YouTube channel very quickly, because there was just a need. There were so many people that needed and wanted to each other, not necessarily just me. But we've been in it together now for 12 years, and I'm super, super proud of what we've achieved. So for me, in terms of, like, the question is for you, like, who sparks your curiosity now and your passion and your interest? Are you with someone? Are you by yourself? Are you, I mean, I'm not asking for you to answer all these questions, by the way, in comments, and unless you want to share, and it's totally fine. But the legacy that I personally have for this time is very powerful. I think this is where I really came into my own, and I really started doing things that mattered. And it's funny, I was at a L'Oreal event last night, and they showed a video of a woman, an older woman. What was her name? Oh my gosh, I've completely forgotten it. I actually did a little video or article on it, but she was the one that came up with the expression, "You're worth it." We are worth it, or I am worth it, to spend money on cosmetics. I mean, it was a marketing ploy to buy product. But L'Oreal is now, I think, the biggest makeup company in the world, or not makeup and skincare and hair care and they were celebrating this woman who was just a real rebel in the 1970, when women were not given the rights that they deserved, that it was a very male-dominated advertising world, and she came up with this theme of "You're worth it," and it became a huge thing. And I think that's where I've come to today, is that I've actually established a company and got this business going, 60andMe, and not just 60andMe, it's me, it's Margaret as well, to be able to be something of help, something of inspiration, something to guide. And we have our Patreon supporters group, which I absolutely love, because it's me and them. It's not 60andMe particularly, it's just me, Margaret. And I love that. I don't have enough of that in my life, so I value it very much. But you're my folks, you're my people that keep me energized and happy, and feeling like my legacy is going to be a positive one. I've got lots of bumps along the way, but I feel I'm leaving something behind. And if you feel like you've got something to say, some wisdom, insight that you'd like to share with your younger self, or your any age self, or even the one that's coming, your future self, what would it be? So I hope you enjoyed this chat. I really thank you for the opportunity to go through my own story as well a bit, and maybe in doing that you kind of got some inspiration yourselves. But I do welcome your comments, and please leave them in the section below. I'm here for you. We're here for each other, and I genuinely mean that. There's enough channels now with 60andMe, and I'm going to do a video shortly about all the stuff that we have, because half of it you don't know about. We just completed our survey, our 24 survey for 60andMe community, and it's a very low number of people, for example, know we have yoga videos free on YouTube. We have all kinds of videos on different topics that you probably don't even know about unless you go to YouTube and search. There's lots to see, and it's all easy to search. So if it's something you want on makeup or travel or a particular place or conversations, difficult conversations, or whatever it is, you can check out the video on YouTube, and go ahead and the channels, or subscribe to the channel. And if you like this video, give it a like, because YouTube will then spread the word if you comment and leave a little thumbs up for me. That would be fantastic. Okay, so have a fabulous day wherever you are going or whatever you're doing. If you're sitting down to do this little legacy planning with taking some questions and building a story, good luck with that, and let us know how you do. You're loved. I love you so much, guys. I appreciate you every single day, and I am here because of you, and you were there because of me. We're in it together. We're on the journey, just walking each other home. Okay, take good care, everyone. Lots of love.